You would think that this is our main event right here. Charles Oliveira, Do Bronx, Chucky Olives, the number one contender in the lightweight division, comes up against the biggest dark horse the lightweight division has seen in I don't know how long. We've been talking about this guy for how many years. He's been denied his title opportunity time and time and time again. And AJ, I have to start this off with a quick conversation in regards to Beniel Dariush. Context-wise, you know, I've been rooting for this guy for a long time. I've been saying he's the guy that can get the belt. I've been picking him in these fights that nobody's picking him to win, and he's winning the fights. Well, guess what? Sometimes the promotion that you fight under puts you in a position to where you win all of these against the odds fights, and then you finally run into that brick wall that you might not be able to overcome. And guess what happens? If Beniel Dariush loses this fight, do you think that he's still in title contention? I don't think so. I think the UFC says, we didn't even want to give you the title shot in the first place. Now you're absolutely out of it. Does he deserve that? No. This dude is in another promotion, this dude would be the cash cow. You know what I mean? He just got to talk a little more, you know what I mean, on the mic and all that. Do you agree with what I'm saying here when it comes down to you get tested, you passed all the tests, and then finally it's the brick wall, and that stops you from the ultimate test, the championship? What do you think?
Yeah, Derek, I agree with you. And some would call that the ceiling. Is Charles Oliveira's ceiling, or is it the Chucky Olive ceiling? Can Beniel Dariush actually surpass it? Willy Wonka his way to this, the stratosphere? I don't know, man. I'm with you, Derek, 100%. I've been rooting for Dariush for a long time, even before the Drakkar close fight, where he proved that he is the dog amongst dogs and really earned the respect of us hardcores. Beniel Dariush, man, has actually, surprisingly to me, a lot of fandom that's kind of coming out of the woodwork, at least on Twitter, which is good to see, man. It seemed like this guy was not getting a lot of love besides a very few of us. So it's good to see Benny has some fans out there as well. But, man, it seems like a lot more people are clamoring for Chucky Olives out there. So
Yeah.
Can it happen? Is Beniel a better jiu-jitsu player? Arguably. Is he a better striker? I think so. Is he more powerful? Yeah. Does he have a better chin? Yeah, I think he's more of a dog. Now, does all of that come to fruition on fight night? That's the big question I have, Derek. We've seen Beniel Dariush not necessarily perform to his fullest potential. And with a fighter like Charles Oliveira, when he's in his game mode, when he's hunting again, then that's the most dangerous thing. When you're not on your game, you're just feeling it. You're not in the flow state. Now, to juxtapose that, do you think Charles Oliveira really wants this? Because he dodged the fight. He dodged the rematch with Islam. Him and Benny were supposed to fight before. Is this just another opportunity, or is this just one of the ones where he's like, all right, fuck it. Like, you guys are bullying me into a fight. We've seen it with the Demetrius Johnson to TJ Dillashaw. We've seen it happen to other people. Is this a moving forward of that reign of the division, or is this a very impactful fight? It's only 3 rounds, too.
I think this is an incredibly impactful fight because at the end of the day, this is that fork in the road for both of these fighters. Charles Oliveira, fortunately, he achieved his goal. He got the championship, right? But his championship run was marred in controversy. Beniel Dariush has never touched that. So there's a hunger, but there's also a little bit, and this is why you kind of got to feel where Oliveira is coming from. There's a hunger that comes with I touched gold. I tasted it. I want it even more now, bro. Give it to me more. Benny, you never tasted it, brother. You don't know what that feeling is like. Trust me. I need that back, right? I need everything that comes back with being a champion. I need my pay-per-view points. I need all that, right? And that's the thing, man. Beniel Dariush really does strike me as a guy of if he never got a championship opportunity, he'd be fine just working everybody that comes in his path, man. He strikes me as that type of guy. Charles Oliveira strikes me as I need that belt. That's what I need. But that doesn't matter because when we're talking about the actual fight, this is what makes it a scary fight. Both of these dudes are used to being able to walk forward with reckless abandon because what's the worst thing that happens? You take me to the mat? All right, that's where I want to be anyways. So when both of these guys, 2 grapplers that do that, normally we see a kickboxing match. Well, tough part about this is that Oliveira, phenomenal Muay Thai practitioner, Benny Dariush, incredible kickboxer. I mean, it's almost like you can't even really put a grappler versus grappler strike. You can't put any of that. What do you call this matchup?
The intangibles versus the intangibles, Derek. What's going to happen here when fire cancels out fire, ice cancels out ice? We're meeting the Snow King, wherever the hell the Game of Thrones name was up there, Derek. What happens when the blood starts flowing, when the intangibles actually occur? The X factors, really. I mean, we know Benny has that ability to kind of bring out that dog in him. That's really one of Benny's intangibles. But what do you think, Charles Oliveira? What can he pull out of the depths to really change the situation? Because if you're talking to Benny Dariush, he's not scared of any part of Charles Oliveira's game. Arguably, Charles Oliveira, like I mentioned before, has a little bit of a tendency to have a glass chin. Not necessarily saying he's going to get finished, but he's going to get clipped. If you get clipped by Benny Dariush, boy, it's going to be a long night or a short nap. Either one. What do you think?
Here's my only pushback. Charles Oliveira he's gone decision one time in his last 10 fights, right? 8 of those 10 fights, or I guess I should say 7 of those 8 fights, he is won by finish, right? He's a finisher. That's what he does. And the one thing that he brings to the table that Beniel Dariush, regardless of how skilled, how fantastic of a fighter I think he is, the one thing Charles Oliveira has that Benny Dariush does not is a strength of schedule that is almost unbeatable. Islam Makhachev, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee, Jared Gordon, Nick Lentz, David Tamur, Ricardo Lamas. I mean, I just ran down 10 fights. That is all of his fights since 2016. That is after he got finished by Paul Felder. You feel me? Like, I'm talking about 2016 up, nothing but savages, right? For Benny Dariush, the real namers you got to put in there, Thiago Moises, Drew Dober, Frank Camacho is a great fighter, but we're not going to count him. Drakkar Klose, we're not really going to count that. That was fantastic. Scott Holtzman, retired now, so that was good, right? Diego Ferreira, Tony Ferguson, Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot is the big key that everybody is going all crazy saying, look at how good Dariush's jiu-jitsu is. The difference is Oliveira uses the hands, opens you up for the submission, chokes you to sleep. Dariush, I think, is more of a fundamental technical wrestler jiu-jitsu practitioner who can just control you and just win scrambles. All of that being said, man, do these guys clash in the middle of the cage, or who is getting the front foot? Who's leading this dance? I don't know. I don't have an answer. Who's leading this dance?
I'm thinking Benny. I'm thinking Benny's going to be the one that hits just a little bit harder, just a little bit faster. I mean, we could all be proven. I could be proven wrong right there, and we see Charles Oliveira throw a front foot up the pipe and actually catch him. But personally, I think the power and the pressure that Benny presents is actually going to be able to have Oliveira on that back foot. And honestly, Derek, Oliveira is dangerous on the back foot as well, so it's not necessarily the worst place for him. But I do think we're going to see that fire versus fire mix-up happen where they're just going back and forth, looking for a foot battle, trying to find a way to enter, making a lot of reads. But again, this is a 3-round fight. Which of the two fighters do you think it actually benefits more? Because personally, I find Benny to be a little more intellectual of a fighter, where he's going to be making reads, he's going to be seeing things, he's going to kind of play the chess game, if you will. Oliveira, he's foot on the gas. He's going. He's going to be coming at you very hot. I think 3 rounds benefits him. What about you?
100%. Charles Oliveira. You watch him, he walks you down, and he does whatever he wants, right? Yeah, does that mean he gets clipped in the process? Here's my thing, bro. If you're willing to walk down Justin Gaethje, get clipped by him, and then keep standing up and keep walking him down and not care, same thing for Dustin Poirier, same thing for Islam Makhachev. If you're willing to do that against these guys, why wouldn't he be willing to do it against Beniel Dariush? So I think all of this to say, this is the real question that we should have, and then we'll dip up out of this matchup. Does this fight end in a decision, or does this end in a finish?
This one's a finish all day. Like you said, okay. 1 out of the last 10 fights for Oliveira, 4 out of the last 10 for Dariush. Those are the only decisions on the board, man. 5 out of 20. I don't know exact math, Derek, but somewhere around 20%, 25%, whatever it is. This isn't a math podcast, folks. But if this one's ending in a finish, brother.
All right, well, I'm going to give my pick, and I want Charles Oliveira, but believe it or not, I'm going to go with the chalk. Give me the submission, plus 350, bro. And you would be like, you're going to submit Beniel Dariush. Yeah, right. Listen, man, all it takes is one shot to open you up, and he's underneath your chin. You know what I mean? All you need is that arm bar. You see, these guys are both finishers. Someone's getting finished, and to do it with jiu-jitsu will make it that much more disrespectful in a good way. You know what I mean? So give me Oliveira, give me the submission, and I actually want early round 2. How do you see it?
Ooh, early rounds. Let's go, Derek. The last one to submit Charles Oliveira, man, the great Frank Camacho. So it's been a while, but if there's ever somebody to get it done, or not, yeah, the last one to submit Benny Dariush, Frank Camacho. If there's anyone else to get it done, it is Charles Oliveira. Oh, man, I can't take the submission, though. Give me that TKO. I think they're going to be able to cancel each other out, and give me a round 3. I'll take the late rounds, brother.
Fair play. And just because we pride ourselves on being accurate, you know what I mean, elder statesmen, when it comes down to that, I have to correct you. That is absolutely not true, my friend. I do not believe that Frank Camacho did submit. Let me see. The last person to submit him was actually Michael Chiesa. Rear naked choke 2016. So there we go, my friend.
Beniel Dariush?
Beniel Dariush. The one that I'm looking at.
Oh, you're correct, Eric. That's a win on the book. I remember it wrong.
That's all right. So with that being said, give us Chucky Olives. I mean, I got the submission. He got the TKO. We got to finish. That's what matters.